Imagine you're driving home after a long day and suddenly you see flashing lights in your rearview mirror. Your heart races as you pull over. What do you do next? What are your rights? And what should the officer know too? Today, we're diving into the crucial topic of your rights during a traffic stop in Houston, Texas. Let's set the scene. You've just been pulled over on a bustling Houston street. The officer approaches your car. What happens next could make all the difference in how this encounter unfolds. But don't worry, we've got you covered with essential information for both drivers and officers. First things first, let's talk about what you should do immediately after being pulled over. Slow down, use your turn signal, and pull over to a safe location. If it's dark, turn on your interior lights. This helps the officer see you're not a threat. Keep your hands visible on the steering wheel. These simple actions can help set a positive tone for the interaction. Now, let's dive into your rights. You have the right to remain silent. This is part of your Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination. You don't have to answer questions about where you're going, where you've been, or whether you've been drinking. However, in Texas, you are required to provide your name, address, and date of birth if asked. But here's a crucial point. While you have the right to remain silent, it's often in your best interest to be polite and respectful. You can decline to answer questions without being confrontational. A simple, "I don't feel comfortable answering that question, officer," can suffice. Let's talk about searches. The Fourth Amendment protects you against unreasonable searches and seizures. This means the officer needs probable cause, a warrant, or your consent to search your vehicle. If an officer asks to search your car, you have the right to refuse. They may still search if they have probable cause, but your refusal can't be used as the sole reason to justify a search. Now, what about field sobriety tests? In Texas, you have the right to refuse these tests. However, refusing a breathalyzer test can result in an automatic suspension of your driver's license under Texas's implied consent law. It's a complex decision that depends on your specific situation. Let's switch gears and talk about what officers should know. Officers, it's crucial to remember that traffic stops can be anxiety-inducing for drivers. Clear communication about why you've pulled someone over can help ease tensions. Remember, your goal is to enforce the law while respecting citizens' rights. Officers should also be aware that drivers have the right to record the interaction as long as it doesn't interfere with the stop. This is protected under the First Amendment. However, for everyone's safety, it's best if the driver informs the officer if they're recording. Now, let's address a common question. Do I have to get out of my car if the officer asks? The answer is yes. In Pennsylvania v. Mims, the Supreme Court ruled that officers can order drivers out of their vehicles during traffic stops for officer safety. However, this doesn't automatically give the officer the right to search you or your car. Here's an important point for both drivers and officers. Consent matters. If an officer asks for consent to search a vehicle, they should make it clear that the driver has the right to refuse. Drivers, you should know that giving consent waives your Fourth Amendment protections for that search. Let's talk about identification. In Texas, drivers are required to show their license, registration, and proof of insurance when stopped. However, passengers aren't required to show ID unless they're suspected of a crime. Officers, remember that asking for passenger ID without reasonable suspicion could be seen as overstepping. Now, what if things go wrong? If you believe your rights have been violated, don't resist or argue at the scene. Instead, document everything you can remember as soon as possible. Get badge numbers, patrol car numbers, and witness contact information if available. You can file a complaint with the police department's Internal Affairs Division or consider legal action. For our Spanish-speaking viewers, it's important to note that language barriers shouldn't impact your rights. Officers should make efforts to communicate effectively, which may include calling for an interpreter if necessary. Let's address a sensitive topic, racial profiling. It's illegal for officers to stop, search, or detain someone solely based on their race, ethnicity, or national origin. If you believe you've been profiled, document the encounter in detail. Here's a tip for everyone. Consider keeping your license, registration, and insurance information easily accessible. This can help reduce tension during a stop by minimizing movement that might make an officer nervous. Remember, traffic stops can be stressful for everyone involved. Staying calm, being respectful, and knowing your rights can help ensure a safe outcome. Officers, clear communication and respect for citizens' rights are key to building trust with the community you serve. In Houston, as in the rest of Texas, it's legal to carry a firearm in your vehicle. If you're carrying, it's wise to inform the officer early in the interaction. Officers, remember that legal gun ownership doesn't automatically indicate a threat. Let's wrap up with a few key takeaways. Drivers, be polite but know your rights. You can refuse searches and remain silent, but you must provide license and registration. Officers, clear communication and respect for rights are crucial. Everyone, stay calm, be respectful, and prioritize safety. Remember, knowledge is power. Understanding your rights and responsibilities during a traffic stop can make all the difference. Stay informed, stay safe, and let's work together to ensure fair and respectful interactions on Houston's roads.